When I bought my first house, I thought that the down payment was the only money that I needed. And so I had my 3.5%. I thought I was good to go and excited. And then there were all these other costs that started to come up as I was getting ready to close on this house. Right. So the offer was accepted. The lender was looking at my stuff and I kept getting requests to like put money for this, put money for that, put money for that. And then at the end, I definitely did not have enough money. So just so you know, when you are buying your first house, you can actually get some money gifted to you. But let's talk about the other chunk of money that you're going to need. And these are your closing costs. Closing costs include every single cent that you are going to need to buy this house. So in addition to you having to put in a specific percentage of the sale price to cover this loan, there are other little things that you're going to have to pay for in addition to complete this loan. For example, because the banks have to make money, and so they might charge you an origination fee. Since we're dealing with buying this expensive piece of property, you're going to have to pay for a title company to do research to make sure that this seller that's saying that they own this house, do they really own the house? Are there any things that could get in the way? Could someone say, no, I own the house? Or what are the actual property lines? So a title company is going to do that research. They're going to look at exactly like what is the type of occupancy for this building. So the seller says it's a 2-family. Is it really a 2-family or is it a single family? So you're going to have to pay for the bank to pull your credit report. You're going to have to pay in advance for taxes on your house. Another big one is insurance. So when you're buying this house, you need to pay hazard insurance for that house for the whole year in advance, right? So if it costs $1,200 to insure your house for the year, the bank wants you to pay for the whole year up front because they don't want the investment to go up in flames and then they can't get that money back from you. A big thing that'll cause your closing costs to swing is taxes. Where you are buying your house is going to impact your closing costs because if you're buying in a state where taxes are low, then your closing costs are going to be lower. If you're buying in a place like New York, where I don't know about the state, but New York City, where taxes are crazy, it's going to cost you more for your closing costs. Additionally, states make money off of real estate sales. So in addition to them just charging money for taxes every year, every time there's a sale, there's something called a transfer tax. Depending on where you live, transfer taxes might be high, might be low. For example, in New York City, your transfer taxes could literally be $7,000, like just for you to buy that house. And the last house I bought in Indianapolis, the transfer taxes were, I think, $500. These are all things that I had no idea were part of the funds that you need on hand to buy a house. So you can't look at a friend that bought a house for $200,000, let's say in Dallas, and then you're buying a house for $200,000 in Minnesota. And so you can't say, well, their closing costs were X amount. How come my closing costs are a lot higher? The big thing that's going to make that difference is the taxes and the transfer fees. But even with all those variations, a good estimate for how much you're going to need for your entire closing costs. So this is every single penny, including the deposit, including the down payment. A good way to estimate that is to take 6% of the sale price and use that as a marker for that number that you should be aiming at for how much you want to have on deck to buy this house. So if I don't want to buy a house next year and I just want to have an estimate for like how much should I have saved to buy a house, just hop on and look at houses that are in the area that you want to buy and kind of look through and say, okay, like this house, just look through, okay, is this something that would be doable? If not, just find a place that has more of the aesthetic that you want, just so you have an idea of, okay, based on the going rate of the type of house that I want, you can use that as an estimate to do your math so that you have enough money ready to buy your house. For this house for $290, I want to take that 6%. So 6 divided by 100. Okay, so you just can't do percentages in your head easily. So 6% is 0.06. So you're going to take that 6%, and this particular house is $290,000. So multiply by 290. So if you want to buy this house, you want to have at least $17,400 available in cash to buy this house. And this is an estimate. So you could use a little bit less, you could use a little bit more, depending on what your taxes look like in your area. If you're in a place where you know that taxes are expensive, I would bump this up a little bit more to that 8% mark. But for the most part, 6% is a great place to start. If you're looking to buy a house soon, you don't need to be guessing about how much you're going to need to have in cash to buy this house.